Hello and welcome to the 15 Minutes with Fee. I'm really excited today because I've got a beautiful lady who's come and joined us called Andrea, and she is part of Enagic, but I don't know her story. We have not actually officially really met until now, and that always excites me because I love meeting new people and finding out all about them and what they love to do. I did stalk her a little bit, like as we all do on Facebook pages, and I had a good look around, and what I loved is her energy. Everything about her is just, it reeks positivity to me. So I'm really, really excited to have you here, Andrea, and I thank you so much for coming on and having a chat to us today. And would you like to say hello and introduce yourself a little bit?
Hello. No, thank you so much for actually contacting me and having me on live here today. It's so much fun in this community because we do more or less the same in our own way, but we don't necessarily meet each other in person. We do a lot of online work, and it's so beautiful to meet you because I haven't spoken to you before. I think that will change from today onwards. Yes. So thank you. My story, well, I am a Berliner from Germany living in Melbourne in Australia. I moved here 20 years ago. I had a career back in design and project management, and then became a stay-at-home mum and a supporter of my then husband. And obviously I looked after my children until my life fell apart with divorce 8 years ago. So everything that I kind of had in mind, my plans, my future, my, the mapping out of everything in every single aspect of life suddenly fell apart. Yeah. Absolutely fell apart. So I was a survivor. I lived off food, donations from friends. I didn't have any money in my account. I didn't have savings. I didn't have super. I didn't have any assets. So that's where I was 8 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. There you go. See, I didn't know that story at all. Yeah. That's, look, I think there's a lot of women in our age group that probably ends up doing that. Unfortunately, you hear about a lot of women that get to a certain stage in life and then separations happen, and then all of a sudden that's when they start looking at where they are financially or what they actually have to do or how they're now going to hang on and survive, and it becomes quite daunting. It's like all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, everything's really changed. So thank you for sharing that with us. That's very honest of you. And so I've got 3 questions that I always ask everybody. And so my first question is, and I write them down because if I don't write things down, then I tend to just waffle. So I write things down to do that. So when did you first start to think about your retirement? Obviously, you just mentioned maybe 8 years ago, and not retirement, but it could be just, leaving work, because retirement's a funny age because I always think that's putting you out to pasture and you've got to be at least 67 and, there's all these rules around it, whereas I think anyone can retire at any age if they're set up for it. So how did you actually plan for that, or what strategies did you sort of go, oh my gosh, I'm lost? What did you do to sort of start getting yourself down that path?
Oh, I was certainly lost because, as I just mentioned, it wasn't that suddenly, but when, we decided we separate, it felt like suddenly. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not the youngest anymore. I've only a certain amount of time and years to prepare myself for what I call the classical retirement, where you work for somebody else and then you're allowed to retire at 67, then you're allowed to have fun for maybe 10 more years if your body allows it and if your finance allows. So I had to make a choice of either I sit down and whinge and feel myself victimized and do nothing about my own situation, or I find something where I actually have the wheel in my hand and create something, not just financially, but also something that really sparks the music that I still felt I had within me. So 8 years ago, it was more scarcity and absolute fear and survival. I wasn't even sure if I have a home or a roof over my head. I wanted to move out of that because it's a shitty situation to be in, right? I wanted to live and I wanted to feel that I'm alive. And for me, that's creating something for me and my children as well. So it basically started 8 years ago, not out of free will. Now it is free will. because I don't like the word retirement. I don't care about 67 or 70.
No, that's the same as me. It's a weird word.
You know, it's the traditional way we all, you know, conditioned to what we have to do. You know, we all know these stages of kindergarten, school, and uni, and debt, and mortgage, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not in that. I don't want to be in that. So I want to create my own. And retirement for me just means having the chance of creating something that fills me up, that lights me up, that impacts other people, that gives me a financial freedom, that gives me location freedom, that gives me the freedom to make healthy choices for me and my family.
Yeah.
Until whenever I want to.
Yeah, that's lovely. I agree with you. The word, I think what retirement does is it pigeonholes us. It puts us in our place. And I think there's a lot of people, especially over, you know, everything that happened in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, a lot of people are tired of being pigeonholed and being told what they should do and how they should act. And I love that. I love the fact that people are just going, no, hang on a second, I'm not in that category, or I'm not in this, you know, I don't want to be put into that place just because of my age or my sex or the way I choose to live. So, yeah, I completely agree with you. So when you decided to go and venture out, how did you get into looking at something online like social media? Because that's sort of a, you know, that conceptually, I think for a lot of women in our age bracket, we use Facebook to stay in touch with our friends and maybe to keep in contact with our children a little bit, even though the children don't tend to use Facebook anymore. They use Instagram and TikTok and Snapchats and all that sort of stuff. But I think there's a lot of women that stay online because, yeah, as I said, they're trying to keep in contact just with their friends and their family and things like that, but they don't necessarily utilize it. You know, they're what we call, they're the scrollers, the people that just click through things. So how did you get into using the idea of using social media as a platform for success?
Well, obviously I had, you know, Facebook since 2008. I was the scroller. I signed up to actually stay in contact with my family overseas.
Yeah.
So that was the initial. And obviously, you know, as you probably know, everyone you relate to or you meet is, let's connect on Facebook. So I had friends, neighbors and whatever. And I was a typical scroller. My family wasn't on there. My children certainly don't want to connect with me on social media. Not at all. And then what happened is I decided a few years ago, like I think it was 6 years ago, that I would study again just to improve my, you know, my chances of working. And I started building biology, which is basically creating a healthy environment to live and to work in. It's the relation between us humans and the built environment we live and work in. And I was at the point that I thought, I would love to create online, not online businesses, but I wanted to create a business in New Zealand and a business here in Australia. And to do that, I needed to find a way to work online, to create clients online. And I had no idea. And a very good friend of mine, you know, I was talking to her, I said, well, I'm learning this and I want to do this. But I don't know how to create something online, a wider platform. I don't know where to get my clients from and all of that. So, well, I have something. You know, I'm part of something and we're teaching all of that. And she was talking to me, I think, for a year. And I went in here and I went out there. I thought, I can't say even more. I don't want to. And then at some stage, I thought, what do I have to lose? And I went into a workshop, into a launch, and learned what the academy that she was part of, what they are offering. And that's how it started. That was exactly what I wanted. I didn't end up doing building biology as a profession, but is this, oh my gosh, there is a way. Firstly, I can be myself. I don't have to be told. My last job a few years ago, I was told that I'm not getting paid to think, to have an opinion. Hello? I mean, that does not sit well with me at all. Not at all.
Yeah, don't think, just sit there and do. It's like, oh my God.
And that's maybe fine when we're 20, but I think when we're our age, where we have some experience in life and in profession or just generally.
A lot of experience, actually. I think
exactly. We know what we can do, and we certainly have the desire to really, really be ourselves and express ourselves.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I found. And social media, working on social media, is allowing me that. It's allowing me to have, I mean, what we're doing now is exactly that as well. I have communication, I get connections. I meet so many people from all over the world, not just my neighbors, but from all over the world. I have actually made genuine friendships with people from all over the world. And I can be myself, and it's fun, it's creative. So that's how it started for me.
Oh, very good. That's you sort of answered that third question without me even having to ask it. So, because the last question was, how did you get into Enagic? So, obviously, someone showed you that platform that we were talking about. Is that correct? Or was it that one, or was it something else that you actually got shown first and then went, oh no, I'd quite like it, and had the taster, or no?
So I had it kind of came from two angles. Enagic, I knew about Enagic and the water. And the Freedom Era, that was the whole, the knowledge how to. Okay. And when it comes to water, which Enagic is, the wonderful, wonderful water ionizer, and we're working with, and I'm so bloody grateful. Sorry for swearing. I'm so grateful for.
No, it's fine. I agree. Yeah.
Being able to use the power of water for myself physically, right? Yeah. Because one of the subjects, actually my favorite subject when I studied building biology, was water pollution. And one of the assessments that I had to do, I really had to trace back the tap water, and I used my own house as an example. I had to trace back from the end of the tap, where does the water actually come from? Yeah. What goes into the water reservoirs? What flows in? What's happening? What's in the water? All the chemicals, the toxins, the pesticides, the hormones, all of that. And then how does the water get treated? What's happening in the distribution system until the water actually ends up at the end of our tap? Yeah. I understand the whole scientific background of water, and I really, really, really love water. I'm a water baby. So for me to learn about what ionized water can do on top of filtered water is a no-brainer. I absolutely love the water, and I think every single person needs to drink that water. And then the platform, our Freedom Era, is just, we learn, the wonderful processes and systems. And it's not a get-rich scheme or business or anything. It's all about mindset, or 80% mindset. It has to do with me, and it doesn't matter what business or who I'm working for. If I'm just dealing with grandkids or kids, it's this wonderful, wonderful opportunity to really understand ourselves and become a better version of ourselves, which then means that we are becoming a better version for everyone around us, right? It's a no-brainer. I
love it. I can just hear your passion. It's so exciting. I've got a science background, and I've been in dentistry and medical science for a long time. And I'm like you with the whole water thing. Like, I really understand the science behind it. And when I speak to doctors and things like that, a lot of people go, electrolyzed reduced water, are there any clinical trials? And I'm like, actually there are. So, and I think people just think we're talking about a filtration system. And I think that's the hardest thing to get across, is that it's not just a filtration system. It's something quite different to that. And it can give so much diversity into your home and how you use it, and the health benefits and just everything about it. There's so much information that you want to share and talk about all the time. You almost run out of breath just trying to fit it all in there. So, so I love the fact that you're just as passionate as I am. And I'm sure there's many other people out there that will understand our passion at some stage and really start to get it. But is there anything else, any other guides that you would give to people that might watch this, women in our age group, or even men, that watch it, that are going, look, I do need to do something else. I want to do something else. I get nervous about being pushed into things or feeling like I've got to do something. What sort of advice would you give to people like that? So you said no for about a year. I was the same. I was like, no, I'm not really interested. I'm doing something else. It's fine. What do you think was the moment that you just sort of went, no, I'm going to give it a go? What was the catalyst, I guess, for that?
The catalyst was the hard lockdown here in Melbourne. And I'm quite honest with you. I was kind of like, I have nothing to lose. I'm at home anyway. I might just have a look at this. At that stage, it was a 4-day launch with wonderful people like Tariq and Brooke that we just had on in the launch 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And I was here at home. I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And then
I remember that launch. It was awesome. That's the first time I saw Tariq, and he blew me away. It was just like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? It was awesome.
I know, and not just him, like Brooke and Christy, and we are working with people. The caliber of knowledge and care they have is unmatched. Yeah. And what I then, I had a good hard look in the mirror and thought, it took me a year to get over myself, get over my ego, thinking, oh, geez, that's an online thing. It's probably a scam or whatever. Yeah. And not everything online is a scam. Yes, there are a lot of things that are scams. The good thing is, I mean, you, Fiona, or I, or anyone that does this business with us, we're providing the opportunity for people to have a look and see what this is all about.
Yeah.
It's a guilt-free, there is no risk. So if anyone feels inside that there is something that they want to change, but they don't know how, they don't know what, they don't want to do it alone, they just don't know. They have no idea about the how, but they know that, or they feel that there is something missing.
Yeah.
Well, we might just be the missing link. So, your viewers, they would be so lucky to work with you. And I'm sure you provide the opportunity for anyone to go and have a look, do that first little step into the unknown. Don't get scared and just try, and don't stay loyal to something that's just keeping you stuck. If you're happy when you're stuck and where you're stuck, that's fine. Then you're probably not watching this video.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Oh, thank you so much, Andrea. It's been amazing having you on here, and I'm so grateful. I keep saying on my social media, on my platforms, about our community of people that we have. And I've been in this business for 2 years, and the first year I did a lot of mindset work. Like, I really didn't do much promoting or talking about it. I really dived into the back office and did a lot of growth, and I had some coaching, and it was just amazing. And every single person that I have met in this community, I have never met, and I've met, like you, hundreds of people now. I've never met anyone that has any negativity around them. Like, it's extraordinary, actually. It's actually quite extraordinary. It's such a beautiful, safe, protective place to be for people that want to, as you said, jump in and take a look, see what we're actually talking about. And as we said, like, they can do it for, if they don't like it, they can leave. It doesn't matter. We don't hold anyone to the actual, you have to join us. There's no pressure with that. So thank you so much. Is there anything you'd finally like to say before you go, or are you all wrapped up and done and ready to get on with your day?
We could talk you for hours, and you and I, we would have lots of other things to talk about. But we might do the next one.
Well, I'll get you back on next time, you see. Because when I get someone on, then I can have repeat guests, and it will be really cool, because then we can see what's happening a couple of months down the track in your life. That would be awesome. Yeah, so thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.